The Northtown News Magazine is brought to you in part by the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation, caring for the families of slain and seriously injured officers.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Marty Levinson, my friend, it's Scott Lee Cohen, and I want you to know, while I'm cutting the waste and corruption in Illinois, I'm going to be doing it with you in mind.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city, sweet home Chicago.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself, NTNM on the web, communitypolicingcaps24.org. Somebody at least we have on once a year, and we probably should do it more often, definitely, is one of my favorite candidates over the last decade or so. And that would be, I don't know
Marty
exactly.
Levinson.
Well, Marty Levinson, one of the greats, no question. But, all around good guy, and, Scott Lee Cohen, how you doing?
It's my pleasure to be here. I'm doing good,
That's good. Involved in politics at all these days?
No,
Or?
no. You know what I was telling Sonny when I first came here? I was actually going to run for treasurer, and at the last second, my wife begged me not to run. Wait till our daughter graduated from high school, because the media pressure is too much for them.
Yeah.
So I didn't run, and in the next cycle, if an opportunity opens up, I will run.
Okay. I would like to see that. I don't know what Springfield would do with somebody honest, but that's another story.
Listen, we got to turn the system upside down. I think that's one of the only things that's going to help us move forward.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it. There's nothing happening at all. I mean, I look at the pension mess right now, and some of this is just simple dollars and cents, and people don't seem to be able to understand things like that.
You know what? I think that a lot of promises were made, and like we talked about before we started taping, the pension system has to stop the way we know it. When I ran in 2010, I said the first thing we need to do is to stop pension for any new hire. Go to the 401k or go to some other system and pay off the deficit that we have. I would never say take away the benefits from the people that have worked and retired or that are currently working. But certainly going forward, you got to stop this nonsense. I mean, the state's just bleeding money.
I read an interesting article. I always love going to Real Clear Politics. I find all kinds of cool stuff. And, I didn't even realize they're located not far from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like somewhere around Peterson and Cicero.
That's right here. Yeah.
So it's not far at all. But they were talking, something that never occurred to me. There never really has been pensions before present day.
Correct.
That wasn't, and retirement wasn't an option. You just kept working.
You kept working, right.
So from that standpoint, we don't have any experience, with how a pension system's going to run or work on a long-term basis.
Well, everything has changed from when they started the pensions, and even when the Constitution was written. It was written for a small population of people, and now that the population has grown so much, these things have become obsolete. Pensions have become obsolete. Even the Constitution, in some regards, has become obsolete. I was thinking on the way over, how do we fix the corruption? How do we fix politics the way we know it? And there are two things that need to be done. Let's forget about pension for right now. Two things that need to be done. Number one, we need to establish term limits in the state of Illinois. Terms, absolute terms. The second thing that we need to do is we need to cap finance contributions or campaign contributions and the amount of money that can be spent during a campaign season. It's not about message anymore. It's not about what am I going to do if I'm elected. It's about how much am I going to spend to get elected.
Yeah. And the messages there's no substance to them. It's like, what are they going to stick somebody with the one-liner in 30 seconds?
Well, that's exactly right. And unfortunately, I was accused of buying my election. And the truth of the matter is, yes, I spent a tremendous amount of money, but it didn't go towards TV and ads. 90% of the money I spent truly went to learning the needs of the communities I wanted to serve. You know, we have the election coming up between Quinn and Rauner. And, you know, I'm thinking, how is this Republican candidate going to appeal to the African American community? He knows nothing about them. He knows nothing about the community. He doesn't understand the needs, and he's not doing anything to learn the needs.
It's true.
And he's getting the campaign contributions, don't get me wrong, and he's spending a fortune, but you spend, and let's be honest, the African American voting bloc is so huge, and one of the reasons why I got elected, you have to appeal to them. You have to know what their needs are.
Yeah.
So, but getting back to how do we fix the mess that we're in, it's the two things I just said.
Yeah.
Campaign contributions, how much is spent in the cycle, and term limits.
Yeah, the fact is people don't, you know, no matter what the pretty lie that comes out after a piece of legislation is passed, most people don't even begin to understand what the real ramifications are.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like, you know, everybody figured, you know, the government was running so nicely under Daley and all the rest of it, but the fact is, by putting off tomorrow and always agreeing to demands from the union, and that's actually both Daley's, they basically set the stage for what's happening now with the pension problems.
Well, I honestly agree. However, I believe that the problem was set into motion way before Richie was in office. And I think that there's a term I used again when I was running, kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
And that's what these elected officials are doing. They're just kicking the can down the road. And nothing is getting fixed. And what happens when you don't fix a problem? You have a little bubble in your tire. And you don't fix the problem. What happens? Your tire blows out.
Yep.
Well, that's what's happening with the pension now. We're having a big blowout. And, you know, unfortunately, it's affecting the everyday person. How is it affecting us? Because now they want to raise property taxes. They want to tax you here and they want to tax you there. And everything is a frickin' tax.
My property, and by the way, everything is a tax. People don't realize how they're being taxed either. Even your telephone bill.
Yeah.
I mean, how much of it is a real bill and how much of it is tax?
Absolutely.
And that's not exactly a progressive tax either. That's on the poorest of the poor, and the richest of the richest is the same tax. And your 911 fees are going to go to, for Chicago, are going to go to $390 a month, up from $250, which was high enough, which is $46.80 a year. And by the way, my property taxes, even though Ron keeps saying they don't go up, went from about a little under $3,000 about 4 or 5 years ago to, and I realize he hasn't been around quite that long, but I think this year it's like around $4,300.
$4,300.
So it's close to a 50% increase.
And now let's talk about something.
Sure.
The money from your property taxes was supposed to go to what?
Well, in theory, it's the schools,
Thank
education.
you very much. Is it going there?
No.
No. You know what? It's such a widespread problem because we have all these students who are graduating high school in Chicago. They have no technical skills, and they're not getting jobs. It's creating another big blowout that's going to happen. Jobs was a big thing when I was running.
Yeah, jobs should be a real jobs. You were the one person that addressed jobs, actually. You
did.
tried to have job fairs and all the rest of it.
I did. I addressed it even before President Obama addressed it.
Yeah.
And listen, when we did what we did, literally thousands of people got jobs. Okay, so they weren't the best jobs in the world, but you know what? They put a paycheck on the table.
Yeah, you know, the fact is you can't have everything in
No,
life.
you can't. Absolutely you can't. And but one thing we need to do is the people, they need to wake up. And they need to understand the issues, because even though they don't think it affects them, when they go to vote, when they go in that voting booth and they press those buttons, it directly affects their everyday life, whether it's through property tax or income tax or even their wages. It absolutely affects them.
True. And, you know, people don't realize it, and it's amazing to me how few people vote. That just really, I mean, I understand being like down in the middle. Like I had a friend down the block who almost never votes, and he felt very strongly about the presidential race, and he voted. And he was really upset that other people didn't feel the same way he did. And I said, "How can you complain about people not voting? This is like the first time you voted in what, 15 years?"
Well, you know, that's something else that really that busts my chops.
Yeah.
People complain. They complain about the taxes. They complain about the elected officials. They complain, but they don't vote. What gives you the right to complain if you don't take the time to vote and learn the issues and learn who's going to be representing you?
No, that is absolutely crucial. It really is, and it's not just a matter of who smiles and shakes your hand and looks pretty and all the rest of it.
Right.
But no, it's about substance. I mean, you have to take a look at people and, you know, political speeches too. I remember seeing George McGovern talk when I was in college.
Okay.
And he spoke for 45 minutes. I saw him at somewhere in Evanston. And all I could think of is 45 minutes, he only said 3 things. You know, it's like, why didn't he talk longer? Because other candidates could talk longer than that.
Sure.
And why was he so sparse on the issues? Now, people would be bored out of their minds. They probably leave after 15 or 20 minutes.
Absolutely.
And you wouldn't cover half the ground.
Why are they bored? They're bored because all they hear now is talking bullshit. People go up there, they go up to the stump, and they talk, and they promise, and it's the same bullshit year after year. So why listen?
It is. And
let's give them a reason to listen. Let's make them want to listen and to go in and vote and get educated on the issues.
Yeah, no, it's, listen, I agree 100%, and it would be very nice if people actually did something like that.
Absolutely. So that's going to be your job and my job. Let's educate them, one person at a time.
No, that's for sure. And by the way, one thing also on a future show, my guest in the second segment is going to be campaign manager Sean Tenner of KNI Communications. Next time you guys are here, we're going to set up like a threesome. No, not that kind of threesome. But, you know, like a round table discussion.
I listen. I would love it, and we could talk about some of the issues, and you get everybody's opinion at one time. It's a nice thing.
No, it definitely is, and no, definitely, yeah. I shouldn't have said the threesome. What can you do?
Well, cut the tape and re-edit
No,
it.
I'm not going to cut and I never,
I
especially if I goof, but actually it's what's floating through my head, not about that, but, you know, like, if it was 2 girls and, well,
yeah,
shut
I
up, Bobby,
understand.
okay.
You're burying yourself, Bobby.
You're right. So anyway, are you in right now? How's the family? How's your health? How's everything going?
My health is good. I was sick for a little bit. Unfortunately, my wife just tested positive for, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, a BRCA gene.
No, I haven't.
The BRCA gene is a real strong indicator of future breast cancer.
Oh.
And unfortunately, it looks like she's going to be facing a double mastectomy and a hysterectomy.
Ooh.
But listen, she's an incredibly strong, wonderful, caring, loving person, and she's got strong people behind her, and she'll pull through.
No, God willing, definitely. And you know what? We'll talk about that after off air. You know, making sure prayers got
actually,
said.
there's a reason why I brought it up too,
Yeah.
is because, you know, and we don't have a lot of time, but the BRCA gene and the hysterectomy, this is a strong gene in the Ashkenazi community.
Right.
And a lot of Jewish people don't want to talk about it because what has to happen is a woman has to have a hysterectomy. It then interferes with the Jewish idea of having children. So maybe next time when I come out, we could talk about it, because a lot of the women aren't going for treatment and they're dying.
No, dying is not a good thing at all. Definitely, that does not work.
No.
In the meantime, Mickey's hands are already there, and we could probably talk another 4 or 5 hours. I want to thank my guest very much, Scott Lee Cohen.
It's my
Thank
pleasure.
you for being here, and
Thank
I
you
guess
for
people
having
can
me.
check you out on Facebook if they want
Absolutely,
to follow
on
you.
Facebook. And next time I come out, we'll talk about my website.
No, that sounds. Oh, what is the website?
I don't have it up yet. That's why we'll talk about it next time.
Sounds good. Thanks so much,
No
Scott.
problem.
All the
Abby.
best.
Thank you. God bless you.
You too.